disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am, one of your hosts, Eugene, and with me as always, my podcast partner, Mike Gibbs. What's up, Mike?
What's up, Eugene? How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. How you doing?
Right. I'm like our star of the movie here. I'm a little sick. I keep running to the restroom, but I'll get through it.
All right, if this is your first time with us, I want you to know we're members of the Martial Arts Center Network. On Mondays, we got Raw with Mimi and Lump. Tuesday, CTE, Chris Travis Experience. Wednesday is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Gene and Mike. And Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. For more information, check us out on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. All right, Mike, it's showtime.
Yes, sir.
Man,
all right.
So this is part one of our movie, Way of the Dragon, Bruce Lee movie. Mike, what you think?
It's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I did not like this. I think Fearless Tiger is actually better than this movie.
Fearless Tiger is 100 times better than this movie.
I am not even looking forward to. I gotta finish taking notes for the second half of this thing, right? I'm not looking forward to that. I didn't even want to take the notes for this one. I really wanted to, halfway do this, man. I just, oh man, this is
I almost
stupid.
Called you. I messaged you, yesterday, or it was the day before, but I almost messaged you over the weekend and said, "Yo, man, let's change it. Let's do The Last Dragon, best of the best. Something I can at least watch. I can't get through this." And it was nice out. It was beautiful out, and I'm like. But you know what? I love these movies as a kid. It just shows how messed up we are as children.
Well, I honestly, I always thought that I saw 4 Bruce Lee's movies. But as I was watching this, I remember Bruce Lee fighting Chuck Norris as a kid. I remember seeing that and knowing that they fought. But I always thought that I saw the movie that led to that. But when I saw this movie, this was ridiculous. It was just so much stuff that did not make sense that was in the movie, and we're going to talk about it from the very beginning.
You do a great job of kind of briefly going scene by scene and keeping our viewers interested. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how the hell you're going to do this.
I don't know
about that. When I was taking my notes, I was like, "There's no way in hell." Like if you can't even I can't make sense of it watching it. It's horrible.
Yeah, man. I could not. It was hard, man. It's hard. I think I took more notes. I don't even know if we're gonna even get to the full first half of the movie. It was a lot of stuff. Like I'm trying to figure out what makes sense and what's moving the story along, and then what's just a dumb scene that's here for no reason. I didn't know what to write in. Man, it just
there's so many. I have so I wish I could show you my notes. I've taken the most notes I've ever taken because usually I don't take a lot of notes. I'm like watch it a couple times and I'm good. It was so horrible that I had to take notes, and then after I wish you could see them. Like I got a couple notes and it's like notes, just question marks. Why?
Yeah, I got that in mind also, man. So let's jump into it, and then our next topic after we get done, we're gonna talk about Jon Jones. I got some stuff I want to discuss with you about that. All right, so let's get into it. Way of the Dragon. All right, this movie begins with Bruce Lee, and in this movie, his name is I don't know, man. I think it's Tang Lao.
Kowloon.
I don't know. I mean, I end up looking it up on Google and looking at the cast list. So I saw it, but the way they were pronouncing it in the movie, it was hard to catch. And I really don't know if I got it right, but whatever. I'm gonna call him Tung Lao. Okay. All right. So he's waiting at the airport. So this is one of those scenes that I was talking about. This, as soon as the movie starts, it doesn't make any sense. So we see him at the gate at the airport. We have to assume that it's the airport because at first I didn't know if he was in a mall or where he was at. Okay, so he's waiting in the airport, and there's a woman standing right next to him, just staring at him.
Mm-hmm.
He makes some eye contact and kind of smiles at her a little, and looks away, and she's still staring. He looks again, smiles. She's still staring. And then eventually, there are other people standing around also. Not many, maybe about 5 or 6. And then somebody walks up and she knows them and she walks off with them. And that didn't make any sense. Like, why did they?
So I made a little sense out of that, though. I understood that a little.
Please help me. Please.
That's where he was, and later we learned he was arriving from Hong Kong, I assume. To help support,
we gotta sneak Hong Kong in a movie.
Right.
Every movie we reviewed has some type of Hong Kong in it.
They were profiling.
They were there. It was at the beginning of the movie. It was at the end of the movie. Something. Every single movie so far. Continue, Mike. My bad.
I feel they were profiling him. She was staring at him. He was staring at her. She was there. And then as he's walking through the airport, he had on like the traditional. Yeah, I just called it a kung fu uniform, but garb, and people were staring at him and profiling, even the point to the little kid. But I think that's what she was doing. She was like looking, and then I assumed it was her husband came up, kissed her, and took her away. But I think she was profiling him, man.
Yeah, that was still like
it was so weird.
Yeah, it had no purpose in the movie. And there's another part that was even more weirder than that. Toward the end of the movie, we'll get to that later.
Hey, I'm gonna show you my notes. That's my opening scene. She had a problem with him,
right? I don't know. I mean, she never said nothing. She never changed her facial expression. She was just looking at him. Yeah. Anyway, she walks off. Then he decides to walk off, and he's like looking around. This was weird also. And then he saw this little girl. This really, I at this point, I stopped the movie and had to go back to make sure I was watching the right movie, because he passes a little girl who's standing there eating ice cream. He walks back to her and taps her on the shoulder, and the little girl, she turns around, and then he sticks his hand in his own mouth and just kind of, and she screams and runs away. And that's it. I said, okay, I stopped the movie. I backed out. And I said, wait, let me make sure I'm watching the right thing. I got on Google. Because I was thinking, like, this is not really Bruce Lee. Like, maybe this was Bruce Lee spelled L-E-I or something. Because I didn't think, like, this is not what I was expecting.
I swear to you, I'm a mother's grave. When I text you and said, what's the name of the movie, was after that scene. Because I thought I was watching the wrong movie also. Because it's been years since I was probably like 12.
Okay.
So I'm like, man, it's been years since I've seen this. And I'm like, man, it was not this stupid. I must have just fast forwarded to the fighting scene. I don't know what I did.
Man, maybe, man. Me also, man. Because, okay, so it's like she drops the ice cream and runs away. Mm-hmm. And then next thing he's standing next to a restaurant door. He's standing there. He's just looking around. A man comes out and tells him he can go in. And then he kind of nods or whatever. And then he eventually goes in. Like that did not need to be like that scene. Like, I don't know. Maybe Bruce Lee, because I saw that he was the screenwriter and director for this movie. I think he must have been either drunk or high when he created this movie.
He had to have been.
He had to have been very high, very, very high. He was up there with Snoop and them.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's horrible.
So then he goes into the restaurant. He finds a table. There's another thing. He had his bag. He had his bag in his hand. He sat down.
Stop.
He put the bag down on the chair. He's looking at the bag, and then quickly grabs the bag and places it back on his lap and just sits there.
Yeah, like, no reason.
No reason. Like, they made that a scene. Like, somebody said action, and that was what they were supposed to do. Like, that was stupid.
It was horrible.
Okay. So then he sits there. The waitress walks up, asks them if she can help. He says eggs. I understand that. She didn't understand he said eggs.
Right.
She says what? And he repeats it, eggs. So at this point in time, I didn't understand what was going on because I didn't know where he was. Like, I didn't know. We eventually find out that he is in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
But when this was going on, like I didn't know that. So I'm thinking like maybe there was a language barrier between them,
Right.
So
he points to the menu and all that food.
Yeah. Eventually he grabs a menu and he's pointing at different things on the menu. She leaves and then she comes back later with 5 bowls of soup. And
nasty.
Yeah, okay. And they weren't all the same type of soup either. They all look different.
It was gross.
And he ate it. He ate it all. He just scarfed all of the soup down. As you can see, people, like I said, like, we're a couple of minutes in and like we didn't gave you 4 or 5 different things that just straight
made no sense to the movie.
Because then he pays for the soup and walks out. So like that led to nothing. Nothing happens. Okay. So outside of the restaurant, he's looking around and he sees a woman. He pulls out a picture and he sees it's her, the person he had been waiting on, Miss Chen. They make eye contact with each other and he approaches her and then he says his name and then she says her name or something like that. They acknowledge each other. And then she asks him how come he wasn't waiting at the exit gate. He said he got hungry. He needed to get some food. We never even I thought he went into the restaurant by accident. It didn't seem like he was purposely going in there to eat. So you never knew he was hungry before. Maybe that's what he was doing with that little girl. Maybe that was his way of maybe trying to ask her where he can go get something to eat or where she got that ice cream.
Maybe that's it. I didn't think about that. Yeah,
I didn't either to this very second.
That makes sense. So that's the only thing. Because if not, it's creepy. It is, man. It's
because she was like 6 or 7 years old. So
I thought it was a boy.
Oh, that don't make it no better, Mike.
No shit. I just put kid ? In my notes. I couldn't even tell. Like,
okay, so it was either boy or girl.
Fucked up.
Okay, so then they decide they're going to leave. Then this is another.
Man, jump back. You forgot a part.
What part?
After he eats the soup, before he goes out and meets her, he's like, "Oh, my tummy hurts."
Oh yeah,
and he loosens his pants. Because that's a weird scene that keeps happening with the weird music.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Yeah. And I don't think they even explain that. So basically, he needs to go to the restroom, right? And he asks her, where's the restroom? And she points in a direction and says, can't you read or something like that? And I don't think he could. Thinking about the movie. Because there's a couple scenes where, he's looking at something. And I guess he can't. He knows that he doesn't know what it is he's looking for. So yeah, maybe I don't know why they didn't explain that better either in the movie. But skip it. So that's gonna be an occurring thing is him having to run to the bathroom in this movie. I don't know. So then they decide to leave, and then they get to her car. And he's trying to figure out what type of car she had.
Yeah.
I didn't get that either. Like what sense does that make?
Right. And it was a Plymouth.
But yeah,
and he's like Mustang, BMW, Rolls Royce, and I'm like, no, it's a Plymouth. It's an old ass Plymouth.
Right. Okay, so then she tells Tung Lao that her father has passed away. And he left her a restaurant. Her uncles and others have helped her out with the business, and business was good at first. But then a big syndicate, they wanted her land, and they wanted to sell to them, and she wouldn't sell out. So that's why he's here. Her uncle sent him to help out with this restaurant that they have. She says that they aren't listening to reason, and they'll stop at nothing to get her land. Um, there are different thugs watching the restaurant at all times. When customers come in, they threaten them, they chase them away. So then Tung Lao asked him, has she gone to the police? And she says they always leave before the police arrive, and they can't ask the police for protection 24/7. So it's a messed up situation that the restaurant is in. You got anything to add to that?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't. I mean, but honestly, you're describing the scene, and that is what happens. But what was her name?
Miss Chen. Miss Chen.
Miss Chen's about the only highlight of the movie for me.
But basically, this is the movie right here. Everything else they could just throw away, and that's all that's it. That's the whole story to the movie. So the business is getting bad. It's hard to pay the employees and pay the expenses. So she says she has no money. So now we see what the issue is. She said that's why she wrote her uncle in Hong Kong to let him know what was going on, and that she needed a lawyer. Now I don't know what she thought a lawyer was going to do. Against some thugs and gangsters.
Unless you're hiring like Jeffrey Feiger or something. Jeffrey's a thug.
Okay, so then Tung Lao tells her not to worry, he'll handle it. They get to an apartment that she has. Now I don't know, man. I didn't even want to rewind it to find out if that was her apartment or apartment that she rents for the staff. Because I heard her say that people could stay there if they're sick. So I'm assuming that it's not far from the restaurant.
Yeah, that's her spot, I assumed.
Like I said, I don't know. I didn't even want to rewind it because I was like, it's not even that important to me. I don't want to go through the torture of having to rewatch this little part again. So she says that anyone can use it, and for right now, that it was his place, that he could stay there. And then he asked her to go to the toilet again, and they never. I don't know. I guess I'll pay attention on the second half of when I watch it again, but I don't even think they even explained like what was the deal with this toilet, why he kept running.
All that soup he ate.
But he did it for the whole movie. Like the soup should have been washed through his system,
I don't know, man.
Okay, so once out the bathroom, Tung Lao tells her that in Hong Kong everyone is excited for the new year. So he's like trying to, start a conversation with her. And she rolls her eyes and walks away. She tells him she hasn't been to Hong Kong in a long time. And then she asks him, how's the restaurant back home? So I guess her uncle has a restaurant also. I guess maybe they got like a chin chain or something like that. He tells her that he lives out in the country. He was real proud about that because he said he didn't live in the city of Hong Kong. He was in the country, and he practices martial arts all day.
Every day.
I'm assuming.
Yep.
I guess he doesn't have a job.
I don't know.
Maybe he's just a hired protector or something. He just travels around the world protecting people. And he does some. He decides to show her some stuff because he just started doing some kicking also, and he does that randomly throughout the movie. Just all of a sudden, he'll just break out and just start doing punches and kicks or blocks or something like that.
But this furthers our discussion about him as a martial artist, though. Did you see how horrible his kicks are? He ain't pivoting his foot.
I didn't even pay attention to any.
Because that's what I started watching. I'd have took one of those.
You would have took a Bruce Lee
I'd have took one of those.
I don't think he would have took his sidekick.
Your brothers kicked me harder than him.
You go piss a lot of people off by saying that.
I don't give a fuck. Travis kicks harder than Bruce Lee. Watch the movie and how he kicks.
So how you go? So you go create you actually are creating a debate for people on Facebook and Twitter to see who has the harder kick, Travis or Bruce Lee. Like
Travis kicks harder than Bruce Lee, without a doubt.
That would be a good poll.
I watched how he kicked.
Okay, let's get back to the movie now. All right, that's gonna be an interesting discussion. Okay, so she gives him a key to the place, and she gives him a card with the restaurant information on it. And then that's when he was looking at the card weird. I don't know, man. I don't think he can read. No, I don't think he can read. So then Miss Chen tells him that if he gets lost, he can give the card to a taxi, and then they'll take him back to the restaurant. And he said, no, taxis are expensive.
They're expensive. He didn't understand it.
Yeah. So she asked him if he has money. This was weird, because at first he said, yes, he has a lot of money. And then she wanted to know, I don't know why she wanted to know how much. And then she wanted him to put it in the bank. He said he felt that the money would be safer with him than in the bank. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she forces him to go to the bank and puts his money in the bank. In the next scene, they're walking to the bank. He really didn't want to do that for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's how my granny was, though.
You know, maybe it's back to that. He can't read and write, because maybe he would if the money. See, we got to write the movie for Bruce Lee. we gotta put in stuff to make sense. So basically, if he put his money in the bank, he would have to go to the bank and write out a slip in order to get money out. And since he can't read or write, he wouldn't be able to do that. So he wouldn't be able to get his money.
And in a foreign country, so yeah.
So that's what we're going with. We're just gonna make up our own thing and put it in the movie.
It'd probably be better.
Oh yeah, I can most definitely make this movie better, easily. So in the bank, I guess he's going to keep some change on him, so he keeps $20 for himself, or maybe he was depositing $20. I don't know. I think he was keeping it for himself.
Yeah, I think he was keeping it.
Okay, this was a crazy scene. Also, they're sitting on the bench talking, and Miss Chen is telling him that he should be nicer, because when he was at the bank, he was a little rough.
He was on edge.
Yeah, with the banker, because he didn't want to leave that money in there. So she's trying to tell him now that to be nicer. And then a woman comes along and she sits next to Miss Chen. Miss Chen doesn't see her or pay attention to this woman, and she's staring at Tung Lao. Then Miss Chen is talking to him about being polite, and when someone smiles, you smile back. So the strange woman starts smiling at Tung Lao, and then he gives her an awkward smile also. Then she winks at him, and then he awkwardly winks back at her. So Miss Chen is saying, while here, try not to be so uptight. And then the woman walks over and she puts her arm around Tung Lao. Man, I ain't never seen no woman do nothing like that. Just out the blue, somebody you just met, you just saw. So you ain't never
hung out with me.
Obviously not, Mike.
Hey, no, man. I can't even write no shit like that. That shit don't happen in real life. That's how you know he wrote the movie, because he was the Mac.
Right. So when the strange woman puts her arm around him, he puts his arm around her, because Miss Chen had actually told him to do that when somebody does that. So
right.
She gets upset. Looks like she got a little jealous. And
she got jealous.
And then she storms off. And then the next scene, the strange woman who has no name, she takes Tung Lao to her apartment. She tells him to sit down, makes himself comfortable. Tung Lao looks around the room, and then there he goes again. He breaks out, starts doing some punches and kicks for no reason. he's looking in the mirror. So she has a mirror up in the room, and he's doing this in this mirror. And next
That's
thing you
my
know,
favorite part.
behind him, the strange woman comes back out because she walked away, and when she comes back out, she's naked. I don't even think they exchanged names. You know, that was crazy. You speechless.
It was my favorite part.
I don't know, man, because then all of a sudden he got scared. Like now is the time for you to not be scared. You know, you got some business to handle.
I don't know, man. He wore himself out throwing them kicks. I don't know.
So he runs off nervously, says "Wow," and then runs out he leaves. He leaves this woman naked in the middle of her apartment. Mm-hmm. Next thing we know, we see him running up the steps. He's going back to his apartment where Miss Chan set him up with. And then as he comes to the door, someone opens the door and comes out. And this is a gentleman named Akun. He introduces himself and tells Tung that Miss Chen is over at the restaurant, and he was sent over to get him and bring him to the restaurant.
Right.
That guy was pretty cool. I didn't mind him because he was.
Yeah, he was kind of. I'm telling you, you haven't got to the guy I like the gangster guy.
Mr. Ho?
Man, he had me in stitches.
Oh, man. Hopefully we got enough time to get to Mr. Ho today. I mean, we technically should be almost done with this, but see, it was so much filler. Because like at this point in time, like everything I've told you all has probably been about 15 minutes into the movie. 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. We're flying through it. Thank God.
But it's a whole bunch of nothing except for that one little part when they were in the car. You know, all of this has been for nothing. You know. Right. Anyway, Miss Chen and then her she has another uncle, Uncle Wayne. They're in the empty restaurant when Akun and Tung Lao walk in. Akun does the introduction. Uncle Wong asks Tung Lao if he likes Rome, and his face looked weird, and he said ever since he got off the plane, it's been terrible. And that confused me also because like you just got here, like nothing. The only thing that's happened has been stupid stuff that you've been doing. You know, so what's been terrible? You know, what did you think he meant by that?
I don't know. I just think maybe he was just not accustomed. Maybe it's just different. Maybe terrible is different.
All these scenes so far was the restaurant, the airport, you know, Miss Chen's car, you know, her apartment, a naked woman.
Maybe his language barrier is terrible for her or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
He ran away from a naked girl, man. He's terrible.
So Uncle Wayne tells him it's been a long time since he's been to Hong Kong, and he asks Tung Lao how are things. Tung Lao said he isn't really in the city. He says that again, that he's from the country. He was real excited that, you know, he was that he's from the country. And then he looks at Miss Chen, and then, you know, he kind of calms down. And then Akun comes back with some tea. And then that's when, you know, Tung Lao looks around and says, "Where are the customers?" And then that's when they tell him that the customers don't come in because of the gangsters. And then the workers were outside. They were in the back working out. They were training. That was weird. So all your cooking staff, they work out in between, you know, cooking, you know, Chinese food. Like that's
in Rome.
In Rome. But I mean, they were literally doing a karate class. They had on the uniforms.
Yeah.
They were doing the blocks and punches, and you know. Oh man. So and then Akun and Tung Lao they walk out to watch, and Tung Lao like watching them train. Now Akun doesn't. He's not a martial artist. He wasn't into it. Said he didn't like it. But he did say that he likes the Chinese box. And then Tung Lao also agrees that he knows how to do that also. And then that's when the workers take a break, right? Yeah. And the workers, Akun calls them over. And now these workers, they were all Chinese, right?
Yes.
You already know where I'm going at, right?
Yeah.
So everyone that we've met in this movie, Akun, Uncle Wang, Miss Chen, Tung Lao, and now we got these workers. Now, when the workers introduce themselves, they're Chinese men, and one guy's name was Tony, another guy's name was Jimmy, another guy's name was Thomas, another guy's name was Robert, and then the last guy, I couldn't understand what he said. I probably rewound him
I
back.
thought they said Ted.
Really?
The lag guy. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I did it 5-6 times. I could not get it.
What did you think it was?
I didn't know. I didn't write nothing. I said I don't know. That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's saying.
I have Jimmy, Tony, Robert, and then I have Ted in question marks. I couldn't understand it.
So yeah, so that was crazy. They aren't impressed with Tung Lao. Akun tells them that he's here to help, and he practiced Chinese boxing. The workers think Chinese boxing lacks power, and then Tung Lao tells them that that's only for beginners. The beginners lack power. And then he tells them that you get the power from your hips. You about to say something?
Which he don't rotate.
Man, Bruce Lee's gonna get you, man. You keep talking about him.
Fuck Bruce Lee, man.
He gonna make a lot of people mad.
Man, he's a CrossFit star.
All right. So then the workers ask him to show them some martial arts or Chinese boxing or whatever he's doing. And he goes out to do that. He didn't want to do it at first. He said that somebody will get hurt, and then Kun says, well, they have one. They'll have pads or something like that. So he wanted him to go ahead. Tung Lao, he got ready to demonstrate, and then Uncle Wayne comes out and tells them to get changed. The customers are inside. Right. So finally got some business. Oh my goodness, man. And you know what, man? I just don't know. I don't think we're going to get through all my notes. Yeah. So I'm going to keep going. Couple more minutes with this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you guys this. We are not going to do a 3 parts to this movie. That's not going to happen. So we going to get as much as we can next time. And, the next time we record. Because we're not stretching this out to a 3rd episode. Because I'm not watching this too many more times. I got one more time. That's it. Finish this up for the night. They enter the restaurant and the workers they get changed. Tung Lao asks for the restroom again. Tung Lao then goes to the bathroom, and then that's when the thugs enter, right? They're intimidating the customers, they're telling them to get out. The customers leave, and then that's when we see your boy, Mr. Ho.
I love him.
Now, Mr. Ho is interesting character that they created.
I can describe it.
Yeah, well, I'll just choose because I'm trying to find the word
for the fan. He is
flamboyant.
He is Cat Williams' Pinky.
Yeah, I see that.
The Asian version.
Yeah, but not only that, he was a little flamboyant. Let's say that.
I'm not gonna go there.
I'm just saying that because that's going to come up later on in the movie.
My grandpa be calling him Sissy. He is Sissy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not going to say that. But but that's something that comes up a little bit later. I'll bring it to your attention later on in the movie. That's going to be on the second half. Okay. So he tells her, he asks Miss Chen if she's made her decision. She calls out Uncle Wang, and then Uncle Wang comes out. He sees the thugs. He calls for the workers to come out. I don't know what he thought they were going to do, because if they were anyone who could have helped, they would have been helped, and Tung Lao would have never ever been there in the first place.
He wouldn't have been sent there, right?
So Mr. Ho wants to answer If he pretty wants to know that if Miss Chan has made the decision to sell her restaurant to him, Mr. Ho he actually works for the boss, right? Who I don't know if he was a developer or what it is that he was into, but he was a boss. He was a gangster also.
Right.
So Mr. Ho works for him. He's one of several people who work for this boss. So then he approaches he approaches Uncle Wayne, and then he slaps him across the face. A fight is about to break out, and Uncle Wayne pleads for everyone to calm down. Then Ho says that they'll be back tonight. He wants the answer tonight. And then as he's leaving, he bumps into Tung Lao because Tung Lao was in the bathroom when all of this was happening. So he didn't really, he didn't know that they were the bad guys. So he apologizes for running into him. And then Mr. Ho, he starts messing with Tung Lao's pants. He was putting something down the front of his pants, some type of cloth.
No,
I don't know.
It was his belt. His pants wasn't done.
So why would you help another man?
Bro, I ain't saying I did. I'm just telling you what Cole did. I mean, it's already messed up, man. He running away from women. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Bruce Lee might have been gay.
I didn't even think about that with this movie.
I mean, he ran away from the woman, then Ho was playing with his pants. I don't know.
And then
he had Brandon Lee and Shannon Lee, but he could be suspect, man. I don't know.
Well, he stuffed something into his hands and it says, watch where you're going. And then Miss Shin, she was upset and walked away. Uncle Wayne tells everyone everything will be okay. Later on in the evening, Tung Lao and the others are back in the restaurant. Tung Lao sits alone. He's looking upset. I guess at that point in time, they told him, like, those are the bad guys, and you just let them walk. So they were really upset with Tung Lao because he did not. I don't know. I guess they just thought he was just sort of.
Jimmy was the one that was salty about him. The one that was named Jimmy, he was salty about him from the rip, and he was the one who was like, "Yeah, you just gonna let him bump into you and not do nothing." So
somebody should have yelled out and told him because remember, he was under the impression that customers were there. So Tung Lao did not know that these guys were bad people at that point in time. He just came out the bathroom, Mm-hmm. All right. So you know what, man? We're going to leave it right there. I do got a couple more pages, but we got a couple of other topics I want to get into.
Okay.
So, we'll save the rest of this for part 2. And
yeah, because the other part goes fast. It's going to go fast.
Yeah, it is. Like always, that second half. But you know why? Because it's a lot of fighting, and there's no reason for us to discuss the fighting, So, we're not going to do a blow-by-blow of every punch and kick,
It's Bruce Lee typical scenes.
Right.
Deep stance, whoa, noises.
Yeah, you know what, man? I used to hate that, man. As a kid, when people knew that I knew karate, they always wanted me to show something, and they say that. I had one, you know what, man? Thinking about it, I had one person. Actually, no, it was a couple people. At different points, they asked me if they said, "Well, who's your instructor?" I said, "My uncle." And they used to say, "Is your uncle Chinese?" And I used to be like, what? Like why would you ask that?
How does that even make sense?
He's black.
How does that even make sense?
Well, because of these Bruce Lee type movies, they always associated at that time. They always associated, karate with Chinese people.
Bro, I love you, but you don't look no Chinese to me, man.
I don't think so. I don't think I do. So I used to say no, my uncle. He learned karate, and my dad learned karate, and they taught me and my brother.
Right.
So goofy.
I used to Dr. Schultz them, David D. So people would show me a move. and I just chop their ass right in the throat. I'll chop them in the throat real quick.
Man.
I used to get so annoyed.
Because
I played football, and everybody was talking shit. Like, come on, Karate Kid. So I'd be in the locker room just like, throwing chops out.
See, that's not me. Like, I never, once, actually, I had more fights before I became a martial artist than I did after. I never really had any altercations as an adult. Not at all. Like, maybe you get bumped playing basketball.
But you guys were your uncle's first students, though, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then I came along. He was like, when you guys were training with him, he was like Miyagi, and then I come along and I learned from John Kreese. That's who he was.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. No. Richard Plow. I think my uncle was harder on me and my brother.
Oh, I believe that.
Okay. I was about to say.
Yeah, oh yes.
Yeah.
Said he's Miyagi now.
Yes. And me and him.
I get mad.
Me and him had a talk. Before, and he explained to me like, this is a business now. I can't train students the way that I used to train you guys. I remember one.
It's not even training. It's not the physical. It's the verbal abuse. I'm not going to go there because keep your stories in the family. But these motherfuckers don't even know him. And I get mad. I've told him. I'm like, you're soft. You've turned soft.
We said that 20 years ago. Like we knew that a minute ago. But that's because I was about maybe about 12 or 13. We get to the school one Saturday morning at 12 or 13. So Trav had to been like 9 or 8. We get to the school, so we're getting dropped off by my mom, and my mom dropped us off. We get there 5 minutes late. At this, we didn't have no mats in the school. We had like a thin carpet on top of concrete. We get there 5 minutes late. We had to do 175 push-ups on our knuckles.
Man, that's what I'm talking about.
On our knuckles. And like I said, did I mention that I was like 12 and Travis was like 8? So we're not driving. We didn't drive ourselves.
Right.
We didn't walk there. We got dropped off, So, and honestly, my mom was actually doing something for them, for my uncle. So I'm like, man, my grandmother was pissed. Because my hands, my knuckles were bloody, So my grandmother, funny. I remember her. She was pissed about that, So I was like, yeah, But hey, it's all, it's all good, It's part of training, And then you get good stories like this out of it,
Oh,
Let's go. Next topic.
There's some shit we can't even say.
Jon Jones in the UFC. So I saw Jon Jones said that he wants to leave the UFC. Though, do you know why? You know what's going on, Mike?
Something about the money.
Yeah. Okay. So Jon Jones,
he wants more money and said he can make more money boxing.
Yeah. Jon Jones wants about 15, 20, 30 million a fight. That's what he asked for. Jon Jones, last 6-7 fights, he's gotten 500,000, right? Conor McGregor's last fight, when he fought Donald Cerrone, he got 32 million from the UFC. Yes. 32 million. And then he got 16 million from his endorsements.
I don't blame you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Ronda Rousey's last fight, she got 3 million. And you got Jon Jones with $500,000 for
I'd rather watch Jon Jones than any of them.
Jon Jones exactly. Jon Jones came into the UFC in I think like 2008, right? Jon Jones has one loss, and his loss that he received was a disqualification early on in his UFC.
Matt Hamill.
Yeah, Matt Hamill. So he was raining down elbows on him, and so he got disqualified for that. So he has technically never lost in 12 years.
When did he
Not in 2008, I think. Of course, he was. Of course,
UFC 87.
Yeah. So that is a slap. The people that Jon Jones fought and beat are a better caliber of fighter than Ronda Rousey fought and beat, or Conor McGregor fought and beat. Like Conor McGregor doesn't have a long list of very, very great
or
fighters.
He fought them past their prime, kind of. Not that they're past their prime, but they had already. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. You know. So man, when I saw that, I said, "Well, I don't blame him. Like that is that's like a slap in the face. Like he has technically gone undefeated for almost 12 years."
Dude, but here's the thing I'm looking at, because I'm looking at it online as you're talking, and just like his awards, like his bonuses, like every time he fights, he's putting on a show, man. Performance of the night, submission of the night, knockout of the night, fight of the night. You know, all his like, man, come on, man.
Right. Now I do know that
crazy.
You know he has gotten himself in trouble. You know,
care.
but that still should not stop them from paying him. You
signed him to a card to fight. You were okay with any type of trouble he got in, and he's making you money on the card. So I don't even want to hear that.
So even if people don't like Jon Jones, they're going to show up to watch him lose.
Him. Did you see when he got pulled over drunk? He was
no,
like,
I didn't.
You know who the fuck I am?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that.
Man, I love him.
I like him too.
Jones.
You know, he was always put in a bad situation ever since he first got in the UFC. You know, he was put in a bad situation.
Man, they didn't want him to win from the rip. They didn't think he was going to be good.
No.
Because I'm looking at who he fought.
That's what I'm talking about.
They were trying to feed him to the wolves.
Yes. I was watching all of that. I was feeling bad for him because he was young then. So I was like, man, they're trying to kill this
Bonner,
kid.
Matt Hamill, Brandon Vera, Ryan Bader.
Yeah.
He's horrible.
He's a champion in Bellator right now.
Rampage, Machida. Now, this is when he was already coming up. Rashad, Vitor, Gustafsson, Glover takes it. Man.
Everyone you saying is a lot better than the competitors that Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey have fought. So
Jon Jones deserves it.
Exactly. I mean, come on. That's just come on.
Yeah.
You know, that's just not right at all. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, there's always there has been a backlash on him ever since the whole thing with him and Chael Sonnen. You know, ever since that happened, there's been hate for Jon Jones. You know,
I can't stand Chael.
I don't like him either, man. But you know, I like to listen to him sometimes. But he wants to be a pro wrestler.
WWE. Yeah, he wants to be WWE.
You know, I mean, honestly, I think he would be good as a heel in pro wrestling. He'll be very good.
Get heat.
Yeah, definitely. But he has to be like around our age, so he's probably not going to do it now in his 40s.
Here's the thing, I'm looking at Jon Jones. I didn't even realize either. I should have looked at this before we got on. He's knocking out. He's finishing on a majority of the people he fights.
Yeah. Yes.
Out of his 26 wins, there's only 10 he is not finished.
Okay.
How do you not? He deserves it. If Conor's getting that kind of money, he deserves that money for sure.
Yeah, look up Conor McGregor and Donald Cerrone. Look up Conor McGregor's pay for Donald Cerrone. But I could have sworn I saw $32 million, and then he got another 16 for endorsements.
That's retarded,
man. And that's Conor McGregor. Like I've never thought that Conor McGregor was some super wonderful fighter. Because I just didn't see it. Like I have to look at you. I have to look at the people that you've beaten, the competitors, and he didn't start fighting a better type of competitor until he was already somewhat famous.
I wish Khabib would have whipped Conor worse, man.
I was rooting for him too.
I love Khabib.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be able to get back over after all of this, COVID-19 stuff dies down.
So
Because
I
right
can't
now,
find nothing on it. It's just saying that he was guaranteed a minimum $3 million, which is way more than half a
let me see.
million that Jon Jones.
Let me see what site I saw it on.
I'm looking at the Athletic Commission. That's where I always go.
I just typed in Google Conor McGregor pay.
Okay, so here. They don't ever really say, but guaranteed $3 million, $100K bonus overall, with a potential earnings to reach $80 million.
Damn.
Based off pay-per-view buys. So he could have earned up to $80 million.
Wow.
Cerrone got $200K.
That's
How
only
much does it fight?
But and that's not all your money, because you got to take that money. You got to pay your coaches.
Tax?
You got to pay tax. Oh, that's off rip. And then your coaches, your
so he
facility.
got 115. He got 115,000 after taxes. You got to pay. He has his own training camp at that weird camp that ranch he has.
But he still has to pay his people. His people. You're quite sure they got a manager. A manager's going to get 15%, 10 to 15%.
He made $80,000.
Probably so. I mean, that's $80,000 for one night. Ain't nobody. It's not too many people getting $80,000 for one day. Getting into an octagon.
$80,000, and something could happen. No, that's crazy to me.
Meanwhile, you got Conor. Multi of millions. And Jon Jones, 500,000. So yeah, so he said that every time he steps in the cage, he's putting his life on the line. So and most definitely, if you sit there, you're looking at what Conor gets and what Ronda would have gotten. I most definitely would have been doing the same thing.
What a discrepancy!
Yeah,
that's horrible.
So let's stick with MMA for a second. I got a question for you, man. So I saw the fight. I don't know. Did you see the Tyron Woodley fight?
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay, so I saw it, but he pretty much didn't look good. He got dominated, and he didn't get knocked out or submitted or anything like that. But he just didn't look like his normal self to me.
Did he get cut? Did he get cut?
He did. He got, and that was in the first few seconds of the first round.
They were telling me at work that he got cut.
Yeah. So they thought that they might have stopped it, but at that time they thought that was going to be the end of the fight, but he powered through. And the only thing I could think was maybe he didn't get a proper training camp.
Gene, nobody is getting a proper camp.
Exactly.
Why would you even fight right now?
I wouldn't.
If you're at his unless they are making you contractually, and then I would counter sue him because the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I'm fighting.
Mm-mm.
I blame the manager. I blame whoever's in charge of them.
But at the
fight.
End of the day, it's Dana.
Your fighter, man.
End of the day is Dana White, man. If Dana White did not want any UFC events going on right now, he would say it, and there would be fights.
I'm not even talking about like fighters and camps and stuff. Let's just end that discussion. I don't think any fighter is gonna get a proper camp. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. They're not. Right. It's impossible.
So right now, you're gonna have some unprepared fighters get in the ring, and somebody could potentially get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
This is where somebody's gonna get hurt, and then it's gonna be you made them fight the COVID. It's all about the money.
Oh, it definitely could be some lawsuits that come out of it if somebody gets seriously hurt.
And I don't even care about the money. I just don't want nobody to do who can. I don't want nobody to die in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
For $80,000.
What do you think?
I understand Jon Jones, man.
Yeah, especially for only $500,000.
Bull.
So what do you think? Like what type of cardio could they be doing? I can see them not. They're not getting any very little rolling. So
not a lot of rolling probably, and then what's the caliber of the people in your camp? Iron sharpens iron, right?
Right.
So,
exactly.
who are they working with? And
because you got to pay them. I mean, you got to pay good people, like very good people. You got to pay them to come out and be a part of that because they're risking their health also. You can get hurt in training camp.
Yeah.
People do. One smart thing, Tito Ortiz. Like, if it wasn't for Tito, I really would have gotten as deep into MMA as I got. But so I used to like watching Tito Ortiz and watching his interviews and stuff. And he had a DVD that he put out a few years ago, and so he used to go up to Big Bear, and he used to rent. I think he said that the place that he had was Oscar De La Hoya's old place. So all of his teammates, we used to come up there and train with them. Now I think that is a good way. If you want to have a proper camp, you got to take everybody and go away because they cooked. They took care of that house. Like, they all had their own little rooms or whatever. And that way you can kind of be, you guys go away for 2 weeks before you start the camp to make sure that everybody is feeling well. Then once you start, all of y'all are technically kind of quarantined together. Maybe that's one way, people can do a proper camp.
So who's in this camp? Who's in Woodley's camp? Pettis?
You know what? I have no idea.
That's what I'm trying to find. Ben Askren, I believe.
Okay.
Pettis. I think what's his name was there for a minute. CM Punk.
See, that's
you gotta have,
that's muddy.
You gotta have some people, man.
I mean, there's only so much you can do road work, and then there's some cardio drills you can do and stuff like that. But it's not the same as being able to get your boxing in, getting your wrestling in, getting your jiu-jitsu in,
so
and then on top of that, you don't have the fans.
I love Woodley. I like him because he don't let nothing dictate his fight. He fights his style. He wins. But my thing is, you're cut, you're tired, or whatever the case may be. If you have that crowd, you're feeling that energy. You're going to fight through whatever. I guarantee you he felt whatever he was feeling from that cut more without the enthusiasm or the electricity from the crowd than with an empty stadium. And it might have affected him. You never know. I just don't think they should be fighting right now. That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree, man.
I'm gonna watch it now, though. I didn't know he got cut in the first round.
Yeah, he got. I believe it was the first round. Yeah. But it now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, he just didn't look like his normal self. So I knew, as soon as I saw, like, it has to be a camp, unless he had an injury that they didn't talk about. And I didn't read anything recently to see what came out of after the fight. Like, if someone said that he had a messed up knee or messed up ankle or something like that. So I don't know if he had an injury, but he just didn't seem right to me.
That's sad because I like him, man.
Yeah, it's only one fight. I didn't hear nothing about him retiring.
No. He probably didn't get paid, so he can't retire.
Oh, he had to get paid.
How much do you think he made?
Tyron Woodley. I'm gonna go out and say, $350. It was a main event, so let's say $350.
So he cleared $150. I mean,
yeah.
And he's the man.
What did he get? Please don't say nothing under $350, because he was the welterweight champion.
That's what I'm saying.
They hype up who they want to hype up.
Confirmed salaries. All right, here we go.
Oh, you shaking your head, Mike.
$350.
Oh, I was right.
20,000 in sponsors. 50,000 fight in the night bonus. So total of 420.
That was fight of the night?
Performance of the night bonus. Burns. Hey, listen how much Burns made. Guaranteed purse, 85.
And he won.
85,000. He got an 85,000 winning bonus, so they doubled him. He got 10,000 from sponsors and the 50,000 of the performance of the night, so he made 230. He's happy.
Why do you say he's happy?
Well, he's not Woodley.
But
he's not Jon Jones. He's not Connor.
He's not. He's not.
He makes more than me.
Yeah. But we just went over the deductions, Mike. So the last time we went over that. Actually, man. But that's one night, You don't
think Tyron Woodley should make more than $420,000?
I think all MMA fighters should.
Okay, good. All right, we're on the same page.
I think I'm in the camp that MMA fighters should be getting paid like boxers. Like they should not be getting. Ooh. They should most definitely shouldn't be getting $200,000, $300,000. No, they should be at least a couple million. And that's it. And that's if you're one of the beginners.
Jones said he could go. I had read something that said he could go box and make $30 million.
Right, he can.
Who the fuck's he gonna box for $30 million?
I don't know. But he's at the stage in his life where he's not about to start doing a boxing. He's not about to do that. But
I wouldn't be surprised. He's on cocaine, man.
If instead of being an MMA fighter, if he was a boxer, I think he would have been a good fighter.
Oh, Travis, our producer, Wilder. Man, are you serious? Wilder would kill him. It'd be over. He would permanently do cocaine. He'd knock him into a life of cocaine, man. Stop with Wilder, man. Yo, man. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. But, man, he would die. Yeah. He better fight Tyson Fury's soft ass.
You think Tyson Fury is soft?
Yes. The only thing
I'm not going to say that.
Only thing that saved him was Sugar Hill. And he went back and got his heart right with the Lord and went back to Kronk. That's the only thing that saved him.
But I saw the first fight that they had.
He got a real trainer. He got Sugar Hill. He got a real trainer. That's what saved him in that fight.
But their other fight, the first fight, he still technically, in my opinion, he won that first fight. I don't think that should have been a tie.
Oh no, I do.
You think that should have been a tie, that first fight?
Yeah, when he went down and he did the
But he dominated every other round.
No, he didn't dominate.
It seemed like he dominated every single, well, not every single, but most majority of the fight. It seemed like he was in control.
Now, if he hadn't went down, he'd have won. It was a close fight.
Okay.
Yeah, if he hadn't went down, I say he would have won. I shouldn't say he's soft. It's so fucking sloppy. Like I don't get it. I can't watch him. I don't like watching him. Like the whole Tyson thing. I had the discussion with him and Tyson with your uncle the other day.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, Tyson can fuck him up. And your uncle thinks I'm crazy.
Again, Tyson Fury?
No, Mike Tyson and Tyson Fury.
You talking about right now, or you talking about back in the day?
I'm talking right now.
Oh, so you're drunk on this podcast tonight. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I'm telling you, man.
There's no way a 53-year-old man is going to. No, man. No, Mike. Come on, Mike.
Tyson Fury? Yes. I say that. I wouldn't even say that with Evander. No. Tyson and Evander fight, I'm like, I don't know.
Oh.
I think Tyson.
No.
You
don't mean that. You don't mean
I mean that.
You're making good radio. That's what you're doing. You're making good radio.
No,
you don't mean that. I know you don't mean that.
I believe that with my heart. I believe that with all my heart.
53, Mike.
I don't
53.
Now, Wilder would kill him.
And he's bigger and longer. Like, Mike Mike didn't. How do you think he did against?
He's not Lennox Lewis.
He's big like that. Man, come on, Mike.
No,
come
man.
on.
Mm-mm. I think Tyson has a puncher's chance against him.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
I don't think.
No, I think Wilder would kill Mike Tyson. I think Anthony Joshua would kill Mike Tyson.
Mike, he's 50.
Can I just say I don't like Tyson Fury, man? I don't like Tyson Fury. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I don't like him. He's nasty to watch. He don't get in shape. He's fucking weird. Like, you licking blood off another man's neck. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that's the motherfucker that's carrying COVID around. Like, he is the carrier of COVID. That's how it started. This motherfucker licking people's blood. I mean, get the fuck out of here. Coming out here looking like me in a boxing thing, man. Stomach all flabby and shit. Get the fuck out of here. Now when he come out of the ring, be embarrassed of my family and shit, looking like I didn't train for a heavyweight fight. That's like Ruiz.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm proud of the little fat dude. Fat dude busted his ass. Hey, but I get on his Instagram and crack on him. I do when I'm bored. I'm like, let me get on here and just roast
wait. So
yes.
You troll boxers. That's what you doing.
No, just Andy.
But
I like him. It comes from love.
How come you're not doing that with Tyson Fury then? How come you're not
Tyson Fury might fuck me up. I mean, I'm not dumb. I know Tyson will fuck me up. Tyson will beat me up. I mean, I'm not stupid. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really disappointed in him because he shocked the world. But I knew it was over with him because he didn't get back in the gym for the second fight. You know what I'm saying? He was rocky. He went out and bought shit. He bought the sweet ass truck, red. I mean, he did it up. He even had every pair of retro Jordans. I mean, he was out there, and he wasn't training. You could see he was putting weight back on. And then 3 days before the fight, he was in Saudi Arabia, and he posted a picture of him, Joshua, hanging out.
Maybe he just had that plan like one and done. I'm about to get this lick and then I'm done.
But now I'll say this: now he's training. He's with Canelo's trainer. He got rid of his trainer. He with Canelo's trainer. He's in shape. He's working out every day because he's posting videos. And he's actually he's looking good.
And you troll him because of that?
No, I've only said a couple shit, but my thing is this. And it wasn't to him. It was like to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not to him directly.
Okay.
No. I mean, I'm not fucking crazy.
I thought you were. That's what I was saying. Like,
No. I mean, I'm not gonna be disrespectful. They're in there fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I didn't know what was going on, man. I didn't know what you was like.
He's serious about his training now, and I would like to see that for the rematch. But when I saw him, he took a picture of him, his father, and his camp and their camp. They were all hanging out in downtown Saudi Arabia or whatever. I was like, man, it's a wrap. You're about to fight him in the rematch, and you're hanging out with him.
Right.
It's over.
Yeah. So. Well, that's it. That's our time. We got the go home cue. Mike, you got anything else you want to add?
Don't watch this movie.
Yeah, you know what, man? You know what? And that's it's almost impossible to watch it, right? Because you had a hard time finding it, and I had a hard time finding it. And you text me, asked where I saw it on. I said Pluto TV. Mm-hmm. And I have that because I have some of those free apps on my phone. I mean, on my television, and I have Crackle and Pluto. So what I did, I went into the search bar on my Fire Stick because I was just going to get it off Amazon Prime, and it came up that I could watch it on Pluto. I said, "Oh, sweet."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Today I also found out that it's on a website called Daily Motion. And the full movie is on there also. So I was rewatching it, taking notes this afternoon when I was out working.
I don't want people to watch it.
But if you do want to watch it and see what we saw, you can go on either Pluto TV or You can what did I say? Daily Motion. You can go to Daily Motion.
I gotta say this. I mean, I gotta say one more thing, man. How can you be a Bruce Lee fan after watching this movie?
Oh, I don't know.
How can people still be fans?
I don't know. I like this. I was expecting the Enter the Dragon.
Right.
Because that's what I was expecting. Yeah, I like that movie. I like that movie a lot. But that's what I was expecting. And like I never seen Bruce Lee do comedy. Like this would have been perfect for a Jackie Chan to do. Like I could see him all day, but Jackie Chan, he probably would have did some extra stuff like fall off a ladder also, or add different stunts into it or whatever. But as far as the comedy that's in this movie, this is Jackie Chan all day. But I just wouldn't expect that from Bruce Lee. I thought he was all serious and action and not this. But if you guys want to watch it, Daily Motion. It's called Way of the Dragon. Came out in 1972, or Pluto TV if you have that app. And you can watch it with couple of commercials on there. Anything else, Mike?
That's it, man. Right, have a good weekend.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up, man. You guys have a good one. Stay safe, stay home if you can, and watch a movie. We out. See ya.